I want to show you guys the framework, and I'm going to go back to the same role play script that I've showed you guys in the past, just so you see. Again, most of my calls, they tend to sound the same. Obviously, some questions are going to be different. Most of the calls sound exactly the same. So these are the notes, just as a quick recap. 3 parts to every single call, right? Why am I calling? Then the discovery stage, I just want to get the lead to talk. And then at the end, the transition to the close, right? I'm going to be in your area. I would love to swing by and see your property. So here it goes.
I'm giving you a call from Tom Ferguson's office. How you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Good to hear you. I just wanted to give you a quick ring. I know you were talking to our assistant Ashley just a couple days ago, but I was just looking at the conversation kind of ended, and I thought, hey, why not give him a quick ring, just ask him a few questions about his place. You have the
lady that messaged Ashley.
Exactly. Yeah, with the home evaluation. So I want to.
No, I'm so sorry to drop the conversation right there. I got a little occupied with work. Yeah.
It happens. Plus, it was a busy weekend for a lot of people, so all good. Hey, when it comes to your property, you guys are on Dinsmore, right? You have 1538. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, 1538. I'm trying to find some of the pictures here online. I'm just not sure I'm looking at the right property. 15. Oh yeah, just found it. Okay, you guys have the beautiful font right on top of the garage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, nice. Very nice. How long have you guys been there?
2 years almost.
2 years almost. And how's the neighborhood been treating you guys?
I'm going to give it a quick pause. We already transitioned. Part 1 is over. We're already in part 2. I just told him why I'm giving you a call. And since I already had the context, I know that this guy had replied to Ashley. I brought it up. I know you were talking to our assistant, Ashley. But then I didn't see the conversation go anywhere, so I just said, why not give him a call, see what's going on? Right? He said, I'm sorry I dropped the combo. Not everybody's going to be apologetic. In this case, this person was. Awesome. Helped me feel more comfortable with the transition, but it's not always the case. And now part 2, just like I always said, right? For me, these are the 2 most essential questions. Hey, since you moved into the property, have you done any? And then question number 2, how's the neighborhood treated you? I just want to get this person to bring their guard down and start talking about their home.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah. I was just asking, how's the neighborhood been treating you guys?
Neighborhood's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Neighborhood's good. My kid's got friends in the neighborhood because he goes to school right next.
Mm-hmm.
But we just I don't know, want to go back to our old property, the smaller one. We like that way more than the big property.
So you guys are looking to go back to a smaller property. What kind of size home are you guys coming from?
We have a 3-bed town in that's also in Milton. It's just near Derry and Bronte. So that's also a property that we own, and we just want to go back there. So we want to sell this house and go back there.
I run into a lot of these situations with people out in Ontario where they already have another home or they bought a home pre-construction, and for whatever reason, I don't know. If they already have another home, for whatever reason, they want to move back to it. If they have a pre-construction, well, yeah, they want to get rid of this one and move over to the new home. So this case, Drew, he's going to dive into it. Again, there are reasons, right? I asked him, how's the neighborhood been treating you? He said it's great. He loves the neighborhood. So what's the real reason? At first, he told me, hey, we just want to move back to a smaller home. He's actually going to give us a little more information, right? So let's just listen to how that develops.
Well, look, I think it's a great time to start thinking about this. Right now, we've been seeing tons of activity with active buyers coming back. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me just ask, in these last couple of years that you guys have lived there, what kind of things have you done to the place? Have you done any sort of remodeling? Have you done any sort of upgrades, or is it still original?
It's not original, but because original would be a very dulled down understanding of the house. But the previous owner, when we took it from him, he has done about 250,000-300,000 worth of upgrades inside.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's as is. So he's done a lot of I forget as to what it's called. The paneling that you do on the walls and stuff.
Yeah, like all the siding on the outside or
inside. So inside the house, he's done quite a bit of. Yeah. So he's done a lot of.
I'm going to pause it. I'm probably going to skip this part where you're just talking about what they've done to the home. One thing I will critique of myself. I heard my voice. For a moment whenever he said something about. Can't remember what he said. He said something, and I said, "Oh, really?" I like my tone of excitement there. I feel like I sound so down though throughout most of the call, and I know I wasn't really down. But I feel like I sound less energetic than I usually. Let me skip about a minute or 2.
It's from family health. So
this is the real reason.
Then
into the place, and it sounds like you've done a little bit of everything.
So he's gotten the kitchen finished. He's gotten the slabs redone, backsplash done, all the kitchen. What do you call those? the cupboards, he's gotten custom built done, everything is done. So everything is nice. The house is beautiful. I would not want to leave it. It's just we've had quite a bit of bad experience living here based on family health. So being an Indian household equate these things to bad omens. So we're not very happy living here because every time our kids keep falling sick, and we're just thinking that maybe we should just get rid of this and buy a new one somewhere else.
No, look, I get it. I come from a Mexican background myself, so there's something around.
So you get it.
Do I really get it? I've never thought about like that spirits in my house. I don't know, but I said I get it.
Right, so it's we have in India, we have something known as Vastu. Vastu is basically star charts and alignment based on the day you were born, day and time. So whatever star charts that you had at that time in the constellation and the time where the planet were when you were born. So we consider all of that.
Talking about things that matter to him, right? I want to hear that out.
Yeah, we consider all of that into account. For some reason, we got a little too excited when we were buying and we didn't check all of these things. And now, since we've been here, our kids always keep falling sick. It may be nothing, it may be something, I don't know. But it's just that once you have that in your mind,
exactly.
It's very.
It may be nothing, it may be something. But what I do know is real is his feeling about the place, right? And a lot of decisions that people are making when it comes to buying and selling homes, it's not always, it doesn't always revolve around, but feelings do play a big factor, right? And this could be because, hey, my kids grew up here and I'm kind of hesitant. I live here with my wife or my husband and now my partner passed away. And these feelings can sometimes prevent us from doing things, or they can push us to making a specific move, like in Drew's case.
Difficult to enjoy the property.
Anything. So, no, I do get that. Like, for example, at my grandmother's house, we had something similar, right? They moved to a new place. Right. Somebody, I don't know who, somebody else was living there. But people do leave their essence. That's what I can say, right? People leave their essence wherever they live. And, sometimes it doesn't mesh with us.
Correct. So
I'm probably just going to skip this. We keep on talking about it.
I'm looking at the calendar.
Oh, yeah, I'm already shooting for the transition. Anyway, just to recap, going back to my notes a little bit, discovery stage, the whole goal is get this person to talk. If this person, in this case Drew, talks about whatever he wants to talk about, the energies in this home, the remodeling, I just want this person to start talking as much as they can, right? Because right now, Drew, he opened up. He sounds a lot more comfortable than he was at the beginning of the call. And I'm taking that transition. I don't even know what I said to transition over.
Lost our excitement and joy of utilizing this house to the fullest because of this whole negative feeling that we've been having that this house is not aligning with our family. Yeah.
Well, hey, hopefully I don't fall sick this week when I go visit you guys. But I'm looking at the calendar. Hey, tell me if this would work.
Check that out. I didn't even say, hey, is it okay if I do this or that? Most calls, I will say, I just assume they're gonna let me go. I just assume it, and then I'm going to show you some other calls. But I just assume, hey, it's cool if we can go swing by, right? We're already talking about spirits and stuff. In this case, I just told Drew, like he's telling me his kids are getting sick ever since they moved to that house, and I just said that was my transition. Over here, if I go back to my transition, sometimes I say like, hey, I'm already going to be in your area this weekend or this week. I would love to see your home. I'm going to stop by and give you a package. In this case, it's like the same idea. And I just told him, hey, this was, I hope I don't fall sick, right? And then I just laugh it off, right? He's also laughing with what happens right after.
What's your Wednesday afternoon looking like?
What's Wednesday?
Wednesday afternoon. Is it possible for you to do first half of this any day in this week? So I'm free this week.
Anytime.
I'm free this week. Okay, yeah, so first half works better for me. Second half, my kids come back from school and daycare, so it gets a little too chaotic.
Okay. Yeah. So a little more first half of the day. What are you thinking? Like 11, 12?
Yeah, anytime that is comfortable for you. I'm okay because I'm at home.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Let's do that then.
Yeah, no problem. Let me know whenever you're coming.
Then we just come.
I'm at home. So whenever you're swinging by, even if you're coming in right now, I'm okay with it because I'm still at home. Yeah, so I have a few other things to take care of from my side business point of view. So I'm just taking the whole week off from work.
I love it. Well, I guess it's a great time to get in touch then. Well, let me just ask you this just to make sure I don't get you busy with your kids. What time do your kids get home?
They start coming in at 3. So So one
That's
comes
right,
at
okay.
3, then other one comes at 4, and then it just,
Gotcha. Well, look, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the call, but just to give you a refresher, I'm working with Tom Ferguson. I think that if I swing by, he's going to be with me. He's my team leader, so I want to make sure he's there every step of the way. And
Right.
anyway, yeah, Tom, great guy. I think you're going to love him. Everybody does. Let me just do this. Let me get off the phone right now. Let me see if he's also free. That we can swing by, and I'll just either, what's best? Should I just give you another ring or text?
whatever works for you. I'm okay.
Anyway, that's it, right? We set it up there. Keith Kenny just asked a great question. He said, hey, are you actually meeting these people or do you just do calls for someone else? And I don't think I'll be able to visit everybody I call. So since sometimes I call in Ontario or somewhere in the States or somewhere else in Canada, no, I'm not visiting these people. Usually what ends up happening is, hey, I'm setting it up, right? And since we already built some sort of rapport, I mentioned, just like I recapped right there at the end of the call, I mentioned at the beginning, I'm working with this person. I'm going to be bringing this person along with me. He's my team leader. I sometimes say he's the numbers guy. I need this person there, right? Or I assist this person, but we'd love to. Now, what happens the day of? I don't know why. The day of the appointment, I always have a family emergency, so for whatever reason, I can't make it. But but yeah, no, I don't actually get to meet all these people. But this was the call with Drew. This is out in Milton, Ontario, and yeah, my poor family. Always, I know. there's bad omens in the house. I think that's probably what it is. But anyway, I'm just gonna go back to the script for a little bit. Most of my calls, they follow this same script, right? I want to let them know why I'm giving them a call. Usually here, 90% of people are going to have their guard up. Right after they say, yeah, I have a couple of minutes. Yeah, sure. What's going on? Or what is this about? I get into this, right? Hey, your home evaluation for your place on this address. What have you done? And how's the neighborhood treated you? These two questions, these are usually the only two questions I ask before the person starts opening up. After one of these two questions, right? If the person's done a lot to the property, they're going to start talking a lot about the home. And then I'm just going to compliment whatever they say. Oh man, it sounds like you've done everything, or whatever they say, How's the neighborhood treated you? I've said this on many calls. I like asking this question because my whole purpose of asking this question is I hope this person actually complains. In this case, this guy said the neighborhood treating him very well, right? Cool. So if the neighborhood's treating you well, if you like the area and you've done so much to your home, why do you want to move? So in this case, the neighborhood's treating him well, but he opened up. We had already talked a little bit about what he's done. He's done a lot. I complimented that. The neighborhood's treating him well. So what's going on, man? What's your move? Eventually, when you do sell, what are you guys trying to do? Well, you want to move back to the smaller home. My kids are getting sick here, and people tend to open up. In my whole transition, in this specific case, I didn't even remember I did it for this guy. But in this specific case, I didn't say, hey, I'm going to swing by this Friday or Saturday. I will say this on the next call. I'll show you guys. But since I'm already in the area, I'm going to swing by. I have a listing appointment actually this Friday and Saturday, so I'm going to be there a couple of times this week. I would love to swing by. Sometimes I'll say I'll drop off a package that I'm already sharing with your neighbor, and it has a lot of helpful information that I think you're going to find relevant. And then I just asked that same thing, right? What's your week looking like? In this case, Wednesday. What's your Wednesday looking like? But please, just before I move on any of the calls, any other calls, thoughts, any sort of thoughts. Do you guys do the same thing? Do you guys sound different? I hope you guys sound a little more energetic than I did on that. But any sort of comments, yeah, please feel free to open up your mic.
If I may, Emmanuel, great job.
Yeah.
Great job. And I think don't be too hard on your tone. Something that we have to understand with the people that we're speaking with. If they're also in the same, level of tone, then that's perfect, right? Obviously, if you have someone else on the phone on the other line that's just really upbeat and energetic, then yes, let's go ahead and match it up, right? And sauce it up, bring some energy. But I think it was a great call. And if I may add, I think what you really applied there was really active listening and asking smart questions. And I think being able to do that, it takes one. And so being able to pick up like the subtle hints and clues, right, when you speak with the prospects or the clients in terms of the motivation, it's crucial when you set an appointment. And so what do I mean? So if we're looking to set an appointment, like the guy didn't even feel that this was heading to an in-person appointment, but the motivation was so there, the emotion was so real that you were able to pick up the hints, you were able to pick up the clues, and then you head to the closing table. And I think it's really important whenever we go and schedule in-person appointments that we make sure that the emotion is there, the motivation is there. Like we are actually listening, we asking smart questions. And I think the smart questions here lie when you ask, how is the neighborhood treating you? I think That's a really good smart question. And so let's go ahead and do that. Let's have smart questions, right? Before we, engage in these calls. I think every call deserves a chance. So let us prepare, right, for every call, having smart questions ready to ask, right? Because that shows that you're listening, and that actually shows that we deserve to dig a little bit deeper, right? And so I think these people are also, like, the clients and the prospects are also into choosing, right, nitpicking who is going to be the one. And so we have to, through smart questioning, active listening, we come to deserve that, we are the one for that position. So it's a must, right? Active listening, smart questioning.
100%. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, right? And I guess after, I can't remember who I was talking to, but maybe it was actually you, Victor. I was probably talking to you about it. Man, a lot of people here on this specific call, right? A lot of people here built their business off of sphere of influence and referrals. Me specifically, starting out 8 years ago, it wasn't sphere of influence or referrals. It was cold calling and sweating. Sweating because I was too nervous to get on the phone. And if you guys were on last week, I shared one of those calls from 2016 or 2017. And man, I sounded nervous. Man, I missed every single opportunity because even when people said, oh, we're not thinking about doing anything right now, instead of me saying, well, no worries, eventually when you do so, what are you thinking about doing, right? And then having this person open up. Yeah, man. No, but for sure, these questions, and that's why I always recommend these two specific questions. For me, they usually open up conversations a very long way. What have you done? Super simple. How's the neighborhood treated you? And whenever you talk about how something has treated you, emotions tend to come up, right? Whether positive or negative. Yeah, definitely agree, Victor. Thank you. Just before I move on to the next call, any other comments? Do you guys do anything similar? Do you guys see or ask similar questions? Alrighty. Here, let's move on to the next one. I'm kind of debating on which one I want to share. I have a few actually from this week. This one, it might have seemed like an easy call. I'll show you guys one that was a little more tough. There was a little more friction. And this one, we had to kind of tag team this person with Mike the Scope. I'm not sure if Mike is here with us today. But if you guys were on Tuesday's call with Barry, we were talking about this specifically, right? Mike got in touch with him right after, and he set up an appointment for this Monday. So this upcoming Monday, whatever Monday is. Let's play this one with Iqbal.
Hello. Iqbal, hello. This is Emmanuel calling from Mike Piscopo's office. How you doing? I'm fine. Good. Good to hear. Hey, I just want to take a couple minutes of your time. I got a message just yesterday from Facebook letting me know that you were looking to get a home evaluation for your place on Gulls Road here in Richmond Hills.
Yeah, I tried, but it was again asking so many questions, so I thought, forget.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, forget that.
I love that. Okay, sorry. I loved it. Why? Because the lead is saying, you know what, I was signing up for it, but it was asking so many questions, I just said, forget it. Okay, I told him, let's forget about that, man. I got you on the line now.
Well, look here, let me help you. When it comes to your home, I'm just curious to know, have you guys done any sort of upgrades?
What? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was saying, when it comes to your home, have you guys done any sort of upgrades? Do you have new roof? Did you guys do any sort of remodeling?
Yeah, we have, it's a renovated kitchen. It has one extra, like we got one powder room.
Mm-hmm. So renovated kitchen, okay.
Yeah.
Within the kitchen. Mm-hmm.
Actually, the unique selling point is that
He's going to start talking about it, so I'm going to skip maybe a minute or two.
Is that a storage then?
Huh?
Yeah,
And have you found any places in Mississauga yet or no?
No, that's another question. First, I would like if...
Let me just recap the last couple of minutes I skipped. This guy's talking about upgrades he's done in his home. I have his home on Google Maps. I'm looking at it. I complimented something about his yard. He's talking about a shed or a garage that he has back on the side. I can't remember right now. But he said, well, I'll actually rewind.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And hey, you guys have been, how long have you guys been at this property now?
Almost 4 years.
4 years, okay. And you are looking to stay, what, here in Richmond Hill? Or are you guys planning on moving elsewhere?
No, we plan to move maybe towards...
I'll pause it just to go back to the script for a bit. You guys heard the introduction. Hey, forget about all the questions. I have you here on the phone. Let's talk about it. What have you done ever since you moved in? He told me a bunch of things that he did. I think I skipped it right here on this one, right? These tend to be my two main ones, but I do leave this one as a helping question. And I asked Iqbal in this specific case, hey, eventually when you do sell, right? Are you staying here in Richmond Hill? I always just change this to your city. Are you staying here in Richmond Hill, in Cambridge, wherever you live? Or are you looking elsewhere? In this case, he told me he's looking elsewhere.
Mississauga, okay. And have you found any places in Mississauga yet or no?
No, that's another question. First, I would like if why that the market is in favor of are we getting something good money? If not, then we will postpone selling.
Of course. Well, look, at the end of the day, most people have the same concern as you, right? Am I actually making money off of this property? So you guys bought about 4 years ago. I'm actually going to start running a few numbers right now. My team leader, Mike, he's going to arrive to the office within the next hour or so. He's the guy that runs all the numbers. So what I really want him to do is I want him to give you a call back with more information on this. But here, let me actually just look at my calendar real quick, because actually I think we're going to be heading out to Richmond Hill later this week.
We're actually going to be heading out to Richmond Hill later this week, right? We're not. Well, we weren't, but I guess now we are.
Couple of times. Your schedule, what's your schedule usually like? Are you guys home during the day, during the evening?
So that can be managed. The issue is that whatever is there on the Facebook, that you, by providing
There's the friction.
information, you can send a free estimate. So
For sure.
first of all, that whatever I'm telling you on that is, what do you estimate? What do you think? Because you must be having...
He's asking me, he's pressing me with some questions right now. I don't have info. I can't really share anything. You guys have a huge advantage on me whenever you guys are making calls, because you actually know your guys' neighborhoods, right? I'm jumping onto different accounts. I'm talking to different people. I have no idea where I'm actually calling. I'm just looking at it on Google Maps. In this case, I tried to transition right to the close, right? Hey, we're going to be heading out there. Mike's, let me just check his calendar. What's your calendar looking? And he said, hey, sure, all of that can be managed. But on Facebook, you told me you're going to give me a home evaluation, right? And you're looking at the property. So what can you tell me right now about the number? Me specifically, I can't say anything. I have no idea, right? I could probably look at Zillow, but even then, why would I be sharing numbers? Usually for me, what I say is, hey, I'm just an assistant. I can't actually share any of this information. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to gather information that way we can run the numbers, and I'll just actually have my team leader, I'll have my agent, I'll have partner person share this info with. So we kind of go back and forth for the next couple of minutes.
Having comparative
Exactly.
area, and you must be knowing what is happening
Yeah,
around.
Exactly.
And the last people probably sold here, what was their price, and second, what addition will be done, because it's naturally 2 years back it was renovated inside. Fourth, the way the backyard is not hidden, it's all on the front. So that's a privilege that it looks quite huge house.
Yeah, I think that you guys definitely do have quite a unique setup. You guys have quite a unique property as well. And I'm seeing here that when you guys bought, it was almost this time 4 years ago. It was April 27th, 2019. What I want to make sure I don't do is I don't want to give you a number that doesn't make sense. So how about this? Are you free within the next hour and a half or so? That way I can get Mike to the office, have him share some more info with you once I look at the comps?
he wasn't having it. He didn't want anybody to call him back. Let's see what else happens.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to avoid all this because one person, another person interview, and third person.
No.
Another person.
I get that. And yeah, I know sometimes it can be a headache, going with one person to another. Here, good thing is, at the team, it's just Mike and myself. The reason why I want Mike to give you a call, though, instead of me giving you any info right now, you would have to give me at least 30 minutes before I can actually look at some comps, just because I want to make sure that I'm comparing it to the right sort of property. Because you do have, it looks like you do have a bigger lot, or at least a bigger yard with the pictures I'm seeing. So, yeah.
Like going back to, hey, your home is so unique, and you know that there's no other home like yours out there, right? He was telling me that, so I'm just gonna spit back exactly what he told me. Well, you can understand your home is unique, right? How are you expecting me to give you something? Give me some time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So with you guys buying back in 2019, you already know how crazy it was last couple of years in terms of real estate. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm giving you accurate data. Without us having to book in person just yet, can Mike give you a call in about the next hour and a half or so?
Yeah, actually, then last year, can you see the last year when I got it?
He starts asking me questions about the MLS. Here, I don't have access to Trev. I don't have an account myself. How am I gonna? I'm not. I was just looking at Google Maps and Zillow. I can't remember what he asked.
Purchased.
When you got it, what? Sorry.
Last year I purchased in 4 years back. It was purchased by my daughter and son-in-law.
Yes.
And yes, last year I purchased it from them.
Okay, but this was because I do see an updated. Here, let me actually just pull it up once more.
Can you see the update?
Yeah, this is 2019.
I'm scrambling around Zillow. What am I even looking at?
19 or 19.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna skip. We go back and forth.
Let me actually just try to sign into Treb. My system was acting a little slower.
I'm trying to sign into Trev. I wasn't trying to sign in, right? I told him the system's a little slower anyway. I'm trying to buy time thinking about what I'm going to say.
Change is during 23.
Yeah, during year 23.
If you see that, then you'll be able to. The price in which I purchased was should be known to you.
It should be. I know. Here, so just
Don't
give me.
know that
Yeah.
means you don't have the update record. This house.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
Perfect. So once I get this info, can Mike give you a ring with all this information? One, your purchase price. Two, updated market value on what's happened ever since you purchased, and just give you a rough ballpark figure currently before we set up that in person.
Right. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So give me about an hour 30. You're going to be home?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Give me about an hour 30 just to make sure I have all the info, and I'll have Mike give you a call personally. Okay.
Right. Okay.
This guy was grilling me. This call was this was a bit of a tougher one. Right? The guy didn't really want to set up an in-person right then and there. He was hesitant, and this person sounds like he's more informed than the average person, or at least he knows that they've done a couple of moves. That wasn't reported on Zillow. I didn't see any of that on Zillow, and I didn't have access to the MLS to see everything that happened. I don't know if there was a transfer. I don't know what happened. But anyway, long story short, this guy, it was an okay call, right? Towards the middle of the call, he started asking me questions that I didn't have the answer to. I was still transitioning since about minute 5, minute 6. I was transitioning over to, look, I want my team leader, Mike, to give you a call. He's the guy that has all the information. My system's kind of slow. Let me get all this info pulled up. I'll share it with you. Can I call you in an hour? Anyway, Mike was driving home. We were on a Zoom call with Mike. Once I asked Mike, when are you going to get home? Or when are you going to see? I don't know what I asked him, but he's not going to be within the next hour. So I wanted to give him time to also, I'll just look up some comps, right? Look at whatever we're actually talking about when it comes to this property. Mike calls him back that same day. Again, going back to is Mike here? Maybe not. Yeah. Anyway, if Mike is here, I don't think he is right now. But if Mike was here, or if you guys were here on the Tuesday call, just like I mentioned with Barry Jenkins, they ended up setting the in-person appointment for this Monday. And I don't have Mike's call to play, but yeah, that was that one. A little tougher than the first one for sure, right? Not always easy leads, but I don't know. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on this one?
I really want to hear someone out before Victor or I start blabbing because I think there's so much to say. Victor's like, no, I'm out.
No, I just maybe I 2 cents, but I know there's more to go around. There's a lot of people here with great insight that would love to hear.
Yes. So all of the agents listening, I know we have Daniela, Kevin, Gotham, we have Keith, and I saw a few comments, Sean, Dave in the room. I know Mario's in, Ali, Maury. So everything, and Muhammad, welcome. Everything you guys have been listening to, right? Why I'm taking 2 minutes to talk about this? Because there were so many times throughout this call where Emmanuel had objections, right? Or and we weren't trying to just simply, overcome. We were listening to this person, or Emmanuel was listening to this person and moving on to the next thing. I've found that where we either lose a lead, phone gets hung up on, or anything like that is when we're trying to fight it. Like, no, but you filled out the form. No, but it's because I can't give you any numbers if I just don't see your house. No, but so instead of trying to take that angle, is this something you're doing? Is this something you want to do moving forward? Is this something you would consider? I'm saying all of this because I know when we said who has something to say about it, everyone was kind of quiet. So it's okay. You don't have to comment on it. But I think it's so helpful that we're listening to how actively we take these, take these objections or take this conversation and just guide it to where we want to guide it to, which is helping the lead, understanding if there's business in this, and we can help some person. And we now heard it after this kind of tough call. To be honest, it was kind of tough. Just how Emmanuel was able to maneuver, overcome it all. It's just because it was an easy pace, not trying to fight the lead with, no, you just signed up and I can't get you the number if I don't. So it's just understanding it. And it's such a beautiful way of doing it. You guys can all do you guys can all have your own way, but this is a beautiful proposal. So if anybody does have any comments on that, that's exactly what I do, or I'm going to try it or whatever, feel free, open up your mics. Any feedback is great feedback. And this is a sharing community. So before Emmanuel plays the call, I don't know, anybody have any kind of feedback? Well accepted, well received. Go ahead and feel free, or leave it in the chat. You can also leave it in the chat.
Hey, this is Ali.
Hey, Ali.
What's going on, man?
Hey, okay, yeah. So, your situation was because, if I was making the call and this is the comments I was getting, I would know something about the market to share. But what this is illustrating is that we have an issue on deciding how much information we should give up and keep the prospect in play. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest question that I would ask myself. I know we have to lead by value. So there's a one end of the continuum. Don't give him everything, because once they have it, they're gone. Then give them enough so that there's still some, room left for him to need you. Because if that's his mindset, that I don't want to meet anyone, I just want the information. So you could play for a while. Then eventually, like this guy, I mean, he yielded in the end because you promised him a call, and then somebody, will get back, and he was not getting it from you. So he said, okay, let's see if these guys can give me something. But the good thing is he was talking. This is the biggest challenge. Yeah, they might just, my morning call, he just said what he had to say. My wife is not interested. I took the initiative and I asked for this information, but she's not interested. So thank you, down though. And I have to figure out how to keep him in play, how to keep the game, give him some value. Then, I don't know how long it'll take. So, but that's my comment.
Totally agree. And I want to comment right back to you, Ali. Daniela, I see your hand up. You're right next. Ali, all I'm going to say for this one specifically, right? And there's going to be tougher ones. This one, even though I feel like he was definitely grilling me, he was pressing me on things I didn't know or information I didn't have at hand. But just like you said, right, leading with value. In this case, I understood that, hey, what this person wants to know, what he told me is most important for him is, am I sitting on any equity? Right? Is there any money I can actually play with from this house? Right? I want to get him that information. Not the same for everyone. Again, sometimes it comes from emotional things or the wife. She doesn't want to be getting moves, right? But yeah, I would love to listen to that call that you are referring to, Ali, and I think we could probably do that on our next check-in. And I appreciate your comments. Daniela, what's going on with you? Yes, ma'am.
So as I'm listening to this conversation, it's definitely a pattern that we do encounter more often than not on the conversations. People that are a little bit hesitant. What I'm thinking is, and this is me, we might be missing like an action plan to follow up afterwards, because definitely we had the conversation, we have the value, have the numbers, and I feel that sometimes if the action plan after we have provided them with this information is missing, like what is next? Let's say we have the conversation, we share a couple of numbers. Of course, our goal is to, let's go see the home. But if they're not ready, like what's an action plan that we can put is that leave them with something. Okay, so here's the next step. You have this information, you have the range. It would be to go and see the home, but you're not quite ready yet, and that's understandable. What's next? Obviously, if people want to know about their equity, we can be like, hey, I work with an escrow company. I can create a seller net sheet to clearly put out an estimate on how much you will be netting. So probably that would be helpful in this case. My point is that we are just missing a follow-up action plan on the leads that just want to range to keep them engaged.
Perfect. Good question, Daniela. So look,
I was like, what would be your suggestion on that? Like, what would be a good follow-up plan to leave them with something, so that way, like, I'm reaching out back to you on this and on that.
Good. So look, step number one, I want to make sure I know what their next move is, right? Before I know what their next move is, there's really no value I can provide, because what are we trying to do? I mean, if you just want the range, sure, I get it, right? We all want to be informed. But most everybody, and I think I've said this a million times already, there's a reason why somebody wants a range. There's a reason why people want to know something about their home. There's a reason. And with these two people, they were different reasons, right? One is moving to Mississauga, one is staying in Milton, different homes, bad spirits. In this specific case, out in Mississauga, I think his daughter's moving out there. So it's like he's following the daughter, right? So when it comes to what is a follow-up plan for somebody who says, I just want a range, right? I'm not ready to do anything. I just want a range. There's people who we will need to nurture. And if this is the specific case for this person, you say, perfect. Well, let's work on the range then. You get the whatever range it is. Before I even share the range, even though I'm going to say it's between $100,000 and $1 million, right? Just exaggerating. But before I even say that, right, I still do want to ask them the same questions I asked, right? Which is, okay, for me to get to the range, let me know this or help me understand this. What have you done to the home? We want them to open up, right? Which is, I've done all these upgrades. I haven't done anything. Good. If you haven't done anything and you've lived there for 20 years, what would you say the state of the home is, right? It's whatever they say it is, right? And what else? I'll still ask them about the neighborhood, right? Some people, I don't want to talk about that. Just give me the range right now. If there's people who are literally not letting us, they're not giving us any sort of ins, it's a pretty good sign that we're probably not going to work with this person. And if this is a person who doesn't want to have a conversation, at least a little bit of a conversation, I'm probably not going to work with them. That's the truth. Now, if this is a person who's open to having a conversation, but they say, yeah, we're talking, I'm just not ready to make any sort of moves right now, that's fine. Now, I want to follow up with those people who allowed me to have a conversation with them on the phone, who allowed me to maybe share a laugh with them or just talk about their house, right? So with these specific people, depending on what they're not ready means, are they not ready because they're retiring? Are they not ready because their kids, they want to wait until their kids are out of school, so they want to make a move in the summer? Are they not ready because they have a new job lined up in the fall? There's different reasons why people are not ready. So depending on each one of these reasons, the follow-up is going to be a little bit different. If it's the kids leaving school in end of May or whenever you guys wrap up your school year, wherever you live, if that is the main reason, well, hey, we already know there's about a 2-month timeline. I'm probably going to check in a month to a month and a half in, at least a couple weeks before they said that they were trying to do something. And that's that. If it's the job, then what I want to make sure I do know is, okay, if they're still staying in the same state and they just need to find a home next city over, well, then, hey, what I'm going to be doing to follow up with this specific person, I'm not just going to have them on an automatic search. Sure, I can have them on an automatic search, but and all these names are slipping my mind. I met with a couple of people where we did this, right? Brittany was the last person that we did this just yesterday with. So there's this person, 3-month timeline. How do we make sure we stay relevant for this guy specifically? I suggested let's cherry pick 1 or 2 properties and send them over this weekend. And I would just say, hey, Daniela, I hope all is well. I was looking at some new properties that came onto the market or some new properties that I just ran across. And these homes made me think of you. And I'm going to highlight the reasons why I think they made me think of this person. If they told me that they needed 4 bedrooms and a big yard, I saw this huge, beautiful yard and it just said Daniela Pintar, right? Or I saw whatever I saw that stood out to me. I'm going to cherry pick 1 to 2 of these properties and I'm going to send it to this specific person. And I might do that every couple of weeks. I might do that once a month. It really depends on their time. So strategies for following up with people who aren't ready, who are saying never come over. Again, it really depends case by case. Just before, I also want to play Gotham's call. Gotham's here on this call today. But just before I wrap up this, Daniel, what I said, does it make sense at all? Do you find that helpful? Because I kind of hate that it's a very general answer. We would really need to look at the leads lead by lead and just listen to the conversation, so I can know what actually happened. And then we could make a game plan like that. But what do you think about what I just shared?
I like the fact that we have to consider everyone case by case, and I want to share just a little bit of what happened to me recently. So someone had entered the CMA request, and he was not very responsive. But then I dropped off the evaluation at his home. He didn't answer the door, but I left it there. So 2 days after, I kind of sent a message and I asked, have you had a chance to look at it? And he said, yes. And then I asked, so what do you think the number that you were thinking? And he said, so and so. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I did say, hey, just so you know that this is just, I'm not able, I said in full transparency, I'm not able to give you a precise number if I don't see the home. Just like when you go to the doctor, they need to see you. I kind of used the Moretti.
Yeah.
And then he did, sorry, my kid is just all over.
Oh, good. No worries.
But I had a conversation after, a conversation that I didn't have if I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And the reason I did it was because he was just 3 minutes away from my office, and I just dropped it off. So
there you go. And I'm gonna say this. That is totally what happened with Iqbal, right? I didn't have the info, but Mike, who was giving him a call in an hour, he was gonna be able to share that range. Once you share that range, what do you think about this range? Does that kind of make sense? Well, I kind of like the higher end of the range. Of course you do. So look, just so I can actually pinpoint what that number is, I would love to set up an in-person appointment. I know you're not making any moves this week, so I'm not going to pressure you into anything. But just like I said, I wanted to get you that home evaluation. I shared a range with you. I would love to provide more value. I don't remember what call I said is. I just want to be as helpful as possible, or I want to make sure I'm helping. Something along those lines. And people tend to respond well to helpful people, right? We don't want to come off as pushy. I never want to come off as pushy. And what you did, Daniela, best approach ever. The guy was 3 minutes away from you. You drove over to his place. He didn't answer the door. I'm sure that was probably scary. He didn't answer the door, but he said, doesn't matter. I'll text him in a couple of days and ask him what he thought about the range. And that's all we really can do because you planted the seed. You actually had a conversation with this guy, and that could lead to an in-person appointment. Look, just because we're running a little short on time, and I promised Gotham that I was going to play one of his calls, I do want to play one of his. Daniela, this specific thing that you are talking about, I would love to listen to this call. I know that you're going to be working with Victor. So when it comes to a game plan, Victor's great at coming up with strategies for specific people. And I want to know what happens to this guy. So Vic, just remind me to check in next week with what happened with this guy and see what kind of game plan we have going on. But anyway, just before we wrap up, I want to play one of these calls from Gotham. Gotham, I know you sent me 2 recordings. Which one would you like us to play? I see one is probably twice as long as the other one. I haven't downloaded them yet, but I'm just looking at the file size. Which one would you like to play?
You can go ahead and play the first one I sent you. I think that one is like 12 minutes.
Let's see. Yeah. Here, let me reshare this. Do you want to give us any sort of context before we listen to the call?
Not really. I think most of the information will be in the call itself. This guy reached out, so him and his wife both reached out for separate home evaluations for the same property. So the husband booked a call earlier. A little background on them: they are actually getting divorced. So I think that's why they both reached out separately. But yeah, I'll let you play the call.
Let's do it.
Hey, is this Clyde speaking? Hey, Clyde, it's Gotham here. I'm just calling in regards to your home evaluation you booked.
Great energy.
Oh, okay. How's it going? How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. How was your weekend?
All good.
That's awesome.
Good.
Okay.
I got in 18 holes of golf before it rained this morning.
There you go.
Oh, to this morning. Wow, amazing. Where do you usually golf?
Nice. Great building report.
St. David.
Yeah.
Nice. That's do you ever touch a Royal Niagara Golf Club?
Yeah, I played there, but I got a membership at Queenston and
How
St.
far is that
David.
from you?
I'm sorry?
How far is that from where you live?
12 minutes.
Oh, not bad at all.
No.
I need to pause it right here. We're about 60 seconds into the call. Gotham, great, super strong intro. You're not even talking about the whole evaluation yet. And I think that is the whole point I'm trying to make. At the end of the day, we want to build rapport. Barry Jenkins puts it in the most beautiful way possible, right? Hey, we want to help this person with the dreaming stage. In this case, he already shared, and that's the whole point of part 2 of the introduction. He's already talking about things that matter to him. In this case, golf. He got 18 holes this morning. Love it already. Let's see what else happens.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. How do you like the neighborhood that you're in right now?
Oh, I love it.
You love it, eh? Neighbors are all nice.
Yeah, pretty much all new neighbors. I've been there for 9 years, and pretty much everyone that was there when I came here are gone.
Oh, I see. When did you said you bought 9 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Get into the home.
Awesome. Okay. And when you bought it, how was the property looking? Did you have to make many changes, many upgrades, or was it kind of perfect when you moved in and just maintained it?
Pretty much just maintained.
Okay.
The grass was not as nice, but the grass is pretty good now. So
that's awesome. So what I'm looking at right now, I'm just trying to see the property is the end unit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about anything inside the house, or even let's start from outside? So you said you maintain the grass pretty well. Have you done the driveway at any point?
No, I've what I call it, did it with the tar or whatever driveway. Yeah. Other than that, no, that's it.
No worries. How about the roof? When was the last time a roof?
I'm going to skip a little bit right here, Gotham. I know you're talking about what you've done to the home.
Those need to be done.
Beautiful place for $275. Wow. In terms of square footage, you know how in your property?
2 full bathrooms and basement and 1 on the main floor and 2.
What were if you were to live right now, what would you want out of the property? What's your idea?
Well, according to the one up the street, I'd probably put it for around the same price.
Around the same price. That's a good idea, right there. And again, with the additions you want to add that you just mentioned to me, it could definitely get you probably above that price range. I gave you the ballpark 5 to 6 just because that's what I'm looking at was sold in the area recently. Again, no idea what the property inside looks like, just from the photos I have from the outside. So I would love to, maybe sometime this week, sometime next week, whenever you're free, if I could just pop in with the eyes of a buyer, take a look around the place and let you know what, those additions may cost you, and where you can kind of see yourself listing at.
Yeah,
I would love to. So there's this great deal that my brokerage is actually offering. So basically, if a seller is interested in listing a property, but they want some work done on the place, we actually give you guys $25,000 interest free to just put into the property, renovate whatever you want to renovate, whether it's a new kitchen, washrooms, if you want to touch up the basement a bit more, if you want to add something to the backyard, it's your money to use to increase the value of the property. You just pay it back at the closing, but it's interest free, which is awesome, in my opinion. I know a lot of sellers are on the cusp of listing their property, but they just want to get a couple things done here and there, and money's a little bit tight for them. The reason why they want to sell is maybe the money is a little tight, so they want to get some money out of the property and get out of there. A good way to increase the value of the place, making some renos done, right? We had a property up in Cambridge. The seller wanted $1 million for.
Let me skip it just a little bit.
If I could pop in with you there, we can take
going
a look
back
around.
to the
I can ask you a couple more questions. We can check out the what places need some tender love and care. What places are great in terms of an investor would love this place because of X, Y, and Z kind of thing.
Okay.
So do you have some time this week, or would this weekend be better?
I'm not sure if he understands properly the extent of the file.
Sorry. Hey, can you help me with the mute?
No, I understood.
Yeah.
It's not the question. Same thing like last week. It was a corner from the building there.
Michelle, can you help me with the mute, please?
I know, I don't understand. You understand?
Or Mario?
As soon as you buy, you better have an additional $40,000-$50,000 to correct.
Sorry about that, guys.
Non-conform remedy.
Hey, Mario, could you help me with the mute?
Listen, if you want it's okay.
Who's the host, Karen?
Thank you.
I do see Michelle just trying to text her now. So
Oh,
Michelle,
I think we got it. Thank you so much.
got it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's wrap this one
Would
up.
be better.
Okay. What time next week works best for you? What date?
Monday be fine.
Monday's awesome. We can definitely do Monday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you...
In the afternoon sometime, because I'm golfing in the morning, so it'll be...
This guy loves golf. And look, I'm going to make a quick pause because I saw something very common. If we get shut down the first time, and this happened probably around halfway through the call for Gotham, he offered that in-person appointment, and I don't know exactly what happened. I skipped a little, right, just because of time. But he offered the in-person appointment first around halfway through the call. It didn't go through because he's offering it again, right? And this second time around, he brought a little more value. Hey, and I know you're looking to make some upgrades. What we're doing at my brokerage, we can give you up to $25,000 interest-free for any sort of upgrades you want to do. I like that. And he transitioned over to the close. They're meeting in the afternoon.
No worries.
Yeah.
And he also...
golf. I don't want to, bother you.
Around 11.
Around 11. So let's do 12 o'clock. How about that? You can, get home from golf, have some lunch, and relax for a little bit. Then I'll pop in by around 12. I'll stay around maybe for 30 minutes, maybe even less than that.
Yep. Okay.
12 to 12:30. I'll have it booked and send over the confirmation to you now.
Nice.
But yeah, again, beautiful property. I love the outside look. I love how the park.
Just going back to the compliments. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this guy?
We do.
Or did you already see him?
Sorry, what was it? I'm seeing him on Monday, the 8th.
Monday the 8th. Okay. This Monday the 8th. Look, I like what you did, man. I heard tons of things that either Barry's recommending or Nick is recommending, and I want to walk through your homes with the eyes of a buyer, right? You gave him a range. You gave him a very wide range from 500 to 600, right? Yeah. So good for this guy. And he was open. Now, how'd you feel on this specific call?
I felt pretty good. Going back to what you said about that, the first time I kind of offered that in-person appointment, he actually didn't reject it. I just didn't want to, so when I offered it, I didn't want to hold that as the main point of this conversation. So I threw it in. I said, hey, I'd love to pop in. And then I moved on from that. I didn't get a no or a yes. I moved on from it. And I just continued talking about the property itself. And then at the end of the call, I just reconfirmed that, hey, you know what? Still love to pop in. When are you free? So I left it with him at that. And near the end of the call, I know, it was a pretty good question to ask, but I didn't ask it until the very end of the call. I asked him why he's looking to move. And that's when he told me him and his wife are getting.
Yeah. Ah, man. Well, look, I think this is your second or maybe third time on this call, and I'm very glad that you are sharing some recordings already. I downloaded the other recordings that you sent my way so I can play them, listen to them, and then I think we have a check and call before next Thursday, so we can talk about it then. And I think we should also play probably one or two of the other recordings on next week's call. But for right now, just because of time, guys, I really appreciate you guys' time today. Thank you so much for joining. And there is no call tomorrow. I thought it was last Friday that got canceled. There is no call tomorrow with tomorrow with Barry. But I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.